Welcome back to College Football Addiction. Oregon gets a massive win in Game of the Year Part 2, Game of the Year 1A, 1B with that Alabama-Georgia game. A phenomenal game up in Eugene, 32-31 final score. And I want to talk to you Oregon fans specifically on a couple of things. Number one, we did an Ohio State preview with Zach Smith. We had an Oregon preview lined up, ready to go. And we got so many comments from you guys on, why aren't you talking about Oregon? Why is this so pro Ohio State? We had one lined up. And then the hurricane came in. I live just north of Tampa, Florida. I didn't have power for a few days, and that got nixed, right? I got power back late on Friday night, just could not get the Oregon preview out. So for that, Ducks, we apologize. We did do the Oregon preview for the Michigan State game. We had one lined up again for this game. And, not blaming the hurricane, but I had no power, had no internet. I couldn't even upload a YouTube short to YouTube. So let alone do a full-on preview that's several gigs long. So anyway, sorry for that. You do get the love here, though. We are certainly going to give you a lot of love on this one. Hopefully you won't hold it against us that we didn't have the preview with an Oregon expert to talk about what you guys were bringing. All that said, the narrative on the Pac-12 teams that were coming to the Big Ten was all about physicality. Could they match up? Could they handle that Big Ten physical play? And Oregon so far certainly has shown that they're up to that test. In fact, early in the game, they really had a chance to jump out to a pretty big lead here, if not for an absolute insanely blown call on the interception that should have been. And it obviously ended up leading to Ohio State points. And then right after that, then they get the fumble stripped away, physicality, toughness, and then they get a punt. 3 straight drives where they prove to be the team that might have been a little bit more ready to play this game. Now, that's not the way it worked out. That's not the way that it started, unfortunately, for Oregon. But any questions about physicality after that first drive, when you really got an interception, a fumble, and then a punt on 3 straight drives, the fumble recovery where you just rip the ball away. Harmon said, nah, dog, that's my ball. That was impressive. And I think it showed from the outset. Like a lot of people thought, and I thought, I'll tell you, early in the preseason, I picked Oregon to win this game. If you'd asked me before the game, I felt like it was probably Ohio State's to win. I thought they had looked a little bit better in their games leading up. I had some questions around Oregon and the way that they played. Gabriel with 3 interceptions, 2 games in the last 2 games before this one. I thought that Ohio State was playing a little bit better. I didn't think it was going to be a blowout. I didn't think Ohio State was going to win this by 1 billion, but I'll tell you, I was going to pick Ohio State even in an Oregon preview. I'd have spoken with somebody, and I liked Ohio State to win this. They came out and proved every single doubter wrong. They proved me wrong. No, I didn't think Ohio State was going to run away with this. And again, I picked Oregon in the offseason. I just thought that the talent was there, and playing in Eugene was too much. But man, the physicality of this game proved from the very beginning that Oregon was there and there to play and there to be legit. Oregon's wide receivers are as legit as we thought they were. They are so good. It's not even funny. When I think about the great receiving cores in college football, Oregon, Ohio State, definitely up there. Colorado's up there as well. They're really good. They were good last night. Their wide receivers as well. And there are some other programs that have really good talent out at wideout. But man, Oregon's wide receivers are some of the best in the country, and they are just as legit as we thought. That onside kick or that, I don't know if that was intentionally to hit it. That play took the most massive cojones from Dan Lanning. And really, like, in a game where you need to steal possessions, to me, could have been the difference in the game. Obviously, you get the field goal there, Holden spitting there. I don't want to go into that. Like, you guys know, that just unacceptable in a moment like that against a game like this. Certainly don't think Lanning's going to be very thrilled there, and Holden's probably got some stuff to do to get back in the good graces. But you stole a possession there, and it took massive cojones to do that against an offense that is pretty lethal, giving them a potential short field, and you went out and got a field goal on that possession. Probably get a touchdown if not for the spitting incident, right? And so you stole a possession, you get the lead. It was back and forth since then or after that, but you stole that possession, you got the lead, and you end up winning by a field goal or less. And to me, that's the play of the game. That's the call of the game. Dan Lanning went out there and coached to win this game. Now, I think Ryan Day went out and coached to win the game. I don't think that was the only, big cojones kind of play because, the fourth down, they went for it on fourth and stuff. Ohio State was really good at times as well. Both teams really did go out and play to win the game. Nobody was passive. But that one was huge to me. If there's one moment where I'm like, man, Oregon is gonna find a way to do this, it was that. Like Lanning was coaching like his job was on. His job wasn't on the line. Coaching like it was though. We're gonna go out and do everything we can to win this game, and they did it. And you think back to last year, the losses against Washington. That's the difference to me. You had big games last year that you just couldn't get it done. This was the one where it's like, no, we're announcing that we're here on the scene. Oregon should be the number one team in the country, in my opinion. Yeah, I think Texas looked really good yesterday. I understand if they stay there. Oregon should be the number one team in the country. You beat a top 3 team. You beat an Ohio State, a $20 million roster. You need to bump them up. Gabriel's deep pass to get the lead back at the end of the first was really, really good. I like the way that they just went for it, man. And we talked about, could Gabriel rebound from a couple of, okay performances against a better defense than they'd seen yet? And he did. He was really good. I love the decision to go for it on fourth down near the goal line when they were down by, I think, 6 at that moment. Could have kicked the field goal to cut it to 3. I thought it was the right choice to go for that. I thought the throw by Gabriel, I think Gabriel should just run that. I like to get him outside the pocket. His legs are such a threat. As proved later, he got the touchdown run. But I loved the decision to go for it. He threw the ball. He felt the pressure, trying to just get rid of it, not take a sack. I get it, try to make something happen. But, man, get out of there and run the ball. Hated that he threw the ball at the guy's butt, but ended up working out for them just fine. Gabriel's touchdown run showed what an elite runner he can be. Set up his blocks perfectly, waited. He was patient. Getting in was huge. I did think that settling for the field goal late, I thought they should have been a little more aggressive there. Obviously, it worked out. Very gritty win, but they did settle for the possession, the field goal late. Almost cost them, if not for the pass interference by Jeremiah Smith late. Ohio State's in position to maybe kick a field goal for the win or go get the touchdown, but it did work out, and at the end of the day, that's all you can ask for. You played a very good team, a team that I think you see a rematch in Indy, and we get to do this all over again. And thank God, because this was one of the best games we've ever seen, one of the best games of the year. Thought that it worked out just fine for Dan Lanning. Gritty win. You made the plays that you needed to make. You forced a true freshman into a mistake. Jeremiah Smith is amazing. I think he's the best wide receiver in college football right now. Although Oregon fans, you may have something to say about that with the way that you guys as wide receivers play. But you forced a true freshman into a mistake. Obviously, that was a very clear push off. He got the catch, backed him up 15 yards. They couldn't recover from that, and you found a way to get the win. Gabriel, 341 yards passing, 3 total touchdowns. I thought he was really good. James on the ground, over 100 yards. And the team's 6-0. I don't see another loss on the schedule. Now, you certainly have to show up every single week, but Oregon fans, man, you got to feel like you're in a good position. You probably even have a loss to play with, right? You probably kind of find a way, even if you do drop a game somewhere. I know you don't want to. I predicted you'd go 12-0 and then have a rematch with Ohio State. Now, it's looking like that's probably going to be the case. I don't know that Ohio State loses another game the rest of the way, although their schedule is a little bit tougher, I think, down the stretch. I think you're going to get a rematch here in Indy. And pray to the gods that that's what we get. Maybe Oregon fans, maybe you don't want that. Maybe you'd like to see somebody else because rematches are really tough. But for us non-Oregon fans, we want to see a rematch because that was phenomenal football. And, man, just 2 titans of the sport, 2 gladiators going at it, 2 physical teams. I don't know that I talked about this at the beginning. I don't know that narrative existed around Oregon not being physical enough for the Big Ten because I do think Lanning coach teams are going to be physical. Like, that's not a worry with them. But you still want to see it. You still want to see it kind of come to fruition. You don't know when you get into that schedule. It's not the Pac-12 anymore. As good as that conference was last year, I don't know that that's known as a physical conference by any means. But you went in and you got the win, and that's all that matters. And a massive credit to Dan Lanning, a massive credit to Dylan Gabriel, the way he played. The wide receivers were good. The defense, Ohio State's got an offense, man, and they're going to score, and they're going to get things done, and they've got weapons. And so, you give up 30 points plus, I don't even care. I don't think that's a big deal at all. You found a way to win. That's all that matters. It was pretty at times. Like, this wasn't an ugly loss by any means. It was pretty at times. You'd maybe want a little bit more out of the defense, but again, I don't know how much more you could ask. You get the win. Oregon took blow after blow after blow and certainly continued to come back. To me, it felt like in the first half, Ohio State was going to kind of get in the breaks. Oregon made their own breaks. Oregon went out and made their own breaks. Got the stops they needed. Got the win at the end of the day. Got a little lucky again. What are you doing sliding down to the one? I don't understand that by Howard, but at the end of the day, Oregon did enough to get the win, and man, all credit to them. So Again, don't kill me for not doing a preview show. Our thoughts and prayers are with anybody impacted by the storm. I know you guys are all over Oregon Ducks fans, not just up there in the Northeast, but we're thinking about anybody that was impacted. And hopefully a hurricane doesn't stop me from doing the next Oregon preview because you guys are a fun team to watch. Fun, just got to keep it going. Got to keep it going. 6-0. I don't see another loss on the schedule, but you never know. College football is weird. So let me know your thoughts, Oregon fans, down in the comments. We'll talk about this from the Ohio State perspective as well. So if you're an Ohio State fan, hit the subscribe button so you don't miss that. Appreciate you guys for tuning in to College Football Addiction.